Welcome to day one of 14 days of 14 days of February, where we're all talking about self-care and mental wellness. Yes, and we're looking forward to learning some tips from our guest today on how we can best take care of ourselves and how we can best take care of our mental health. So, our guest is here. Hi, Maureen. I feel like my video is a bit dark. I don't know why. Put the pieces together. Make me the storyteller. Now I know the story I'll tell. There were some nights that so long. Hey.
Hi.
Hi, you're right on time. I don't know, I feel like my video is a bit dark. Am I so dark or it's okay?
No, it's okay. I don't know. What about mine?
Just a second. Yeah, yours is perfect. Okay, yeah, I think that's good. So I'm just going to lower this volume and we can get started.
Okay. How are you doing though?
Sorry?
I know I was with you earlier, but how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And thank you so much for accepting to be our guest today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we're excited and looking forward to getting to learn a few tips about mental health and self-care. Yes, so I'm excited. I hope people are going to join us soon and then we can get started.
Yeah, definitely they are. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Do we start or we wait?
Yeah, we're going to start. Yeah, if anyone misses, then they can always watch this on our pages, so that's fine. So I think we'll waste no more time. We'll just go straight ahead and start with a word of prayer, and I'm going to lead us in prayer. So let us pray. Mighty and everlasting Father, we thank you for this wonderful evening. Thank you for your goodness and your faithfulness. And thank you for this time, oh God, as we just get to talk about issues to do with our mental health and our wellness, and also how we can best take care and nurture and feed our mental health. And we pray that you may be with us, give us a beautiful beginning. And I pray for everyone who will listen to this video, watch this video, that Lord, they're going to learn something that will be helpful, oh Lord, even as we look into how we can better take care of our mental health. Thank you for Maureen, our guest today. I pray that you may bless her and that you may give us a wonderful time. Amen. All
Amen.
right. Yeah, thank you so much once again, Maureen, and I'm so excited to be hosting you today as our first guest when it comes to self-care and mental wellness. So yeah, this is exciting.
Oh.
So we're going to go right into getting to know you. We would like to know you and what you do, and I know you're also a mental health advocate. So yeah, please tell us more about yourself and what you do.
Thank you so much, Joy. I'm really privileged to be here this night. A wonderful night. Well, this introduction process, I think, is the hardest part in my life. But my name is Maureen Gikonyo. I am a girl, a very young girl. I am a mental health advocate, very passionate about mental health for personal reasons. And I am also a youth and mental health consultant. I serve in different boards that I will not be able to mention today because of time. But mainly, I am the co-founder and director at Speak Mind Love Foundation, an organization that advocates for mental health especially among the youth. We create awareness, we deal with resilient building, and we deal with mentorship. And our main aim is just to create safe spaces and to give the youth a voice when it comes to mental health. So basically, that's what I do. Apart from that, just the basics. I am a sister, I am a daughter, I am an aunt, not yet a mother, but aspiring to be. And I am also a wonderful friend to so many people. Yeah, so that's
Okay.
basically who I am.
Right, that's amazing. So we are just excited to host you today, Maureen, and getting to know more about self-care. And I believe before we talk about self-care, it's also good to talk, before we talk to others about self-care, it's also important to learn from you a few things that you do, to take care of yourself. So, yeah, so the first section of this session is going to be mostly getting to know about you and asking a few questions about you. And would love to learn a few things about you. So, yeah, if you're joining us and you have a question for Maureen, please leave a question on the comment section and we'll be able to answer you. So, Maureen, what are you most thankful about? What are you most thankful about today, yesterday, last year, this year? Would like to know about that.
Well, I'm thankful about so many things. But mostly, I think what I am most thankful for is just the gift of life. You know,
Mhm.
I do not take for granted at all the gift that, my Heavenly Father has been able to give me. I do not take it for granted because this past year, especially, we know with the crisis and the COVID-19 pandemic, we have seen so many people losing their lives, so many people have gotten sick. But for me, I think I mostly appreciate the fact that nobody in my family has gotten sick. We are all well and we are good to go. So that is what I'm mostly grateful for. I do not take it for granted at all, because it's a gift. It's not that because we've done something so great, but I just think it's mercies and grace from God. So I'm mostly thankful for the gift of life. I'm also
Mhm.
thankful for the gift of family, the gift of good health, and just the gift of good friends that surround me. Even though we are going through a really difficult time, I just think that these small things that we take for granted are what I am mostly grateful for. Especially, I love to tell people about the way right now we are wearing masks. I think we really took the air we breathe for granted.
Yes,
And
absolutely,
now, right
yes.
now is where I'm realizing, because every time I'm wearing a mask, I just feel so uncomfortable. And um,
Mm.
I've taught myself to stop complaining about so many things, but to start appreciating the things that we take for granted and we think it's just automatic. So yeah, so that those are just the few things that I'm mostly thankful or grateful for.
Wow, I totally love what you're saying, Maureen, because one of the things that I love to keep is a gratitude jar, and that's my gratitude jar. So I love to just write things that I'm grateful about and drop them here because it's very easy to forget to be grateful. And sometimes, you may be just having a tough time, and we don't notice the little things that we should be grateful about. I opened this
Mm.
jar I opened this jar early this year, and this was what I had was for last year. So, and I noticed there's so many things that I had actually would not have remembered to be grateful about, but just keeping that record was so helpful for me. And I've learned that, it's very important. So I encourage everyone, if you can, get a gratitude jar and drop those gratitudes in there. And one day you look back and you'll be surprised. So thank you so much for sharing what you're grateful about. Maureen, I know you have pets. I know you have 3 dogs and how many cats? I haven't heard you say that you're grateful about it. Okay,
I'm
but
grateful
anyway,
about my dogs and my cats, even though my cat got lost, you know. But they have really given me comfort during this period. I just feel so bad that my cat just had to I don't know where it is. I haven't seen it for like 2 weeks now. But I mean, just that, and just knowing that, I just miss it
Yeah.
because they comforted me, especially during COVID.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing, amazing. I know that because I also have cats and dogs and chicken. So yeah, it's really cool. Good company when everyone is just away. But yeah, thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that. We'd also like to hear, Maureen, what makes you happy? Because sometimes we look for happiness so far away. We think that happiness is, having a good relationship, which is good actually. But what things make you happy? What are the little things that make you happy as Maureen?
Um, yeah, I really have to think hard on this, but because there are so many things that make me happy. But I
Mhm.
think the thing that makes me happy is just me being at my best. That
Mhm.
time that I am taking care of myself, taking care of my health, I come first to me.
Wow.
So for me, what really makes me happy is when I'm okay, is when my
Mhm.
mental health is okay, when my physical health is okay. And apart
Mhm.
from that, also taking it back to my family when they are okay. I mean, their mental health, their physical health, morally, it just makes me
Yes.
so grateful. Yes, the material things, yeah, they make us happy, but I think the little things that we take for granted. I mean, happiness is just at our disposal. It's just there. It's
Mhm.
just that most of us don't notice. But for
Yeah.
me, that's really what makes me happy. Just knowing that I am okay mentally,
Mhm.
physically, you know, and also
Yes.
that my family and my loved ones are okay wherever they are. That makes me happy. And with that, I feel at peace completely.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Wow. Yeah, and that's true because if part of your family members are not okay, then it means it would be hard to be okay. So it's also good to look out for their well-being. So that's important. So now when it comes to self-care, which is our topic for today, and I know I've had people saying that self-care is selfish because it's like you're being self-centered, you're looking so much into your own happiness. You just you care, you think you're putting yourself first. Would like to hear your thoughts about this. What do you think? Do you think self-care is selfish? Do you think that it's important for you to put yourself first sometimes?
I don't think it's good to put yourself first. Sometimes I think it's good to put yourself first always.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think I can be able to deliver any services or anything if I'm not okay. So my health, my health does not only benefit me, but it benefits people around me. So I don't really think
Mm-hmm.
self-care is selfish. I think it is necessary, Joy. It is
Wow, it
supposed to
is
be like that.
necessary.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
self-care is not selfish, it is necessary. Because I don't think we can serve from an empty vessel. We always have to, take care of ourselves, refill ourselves, just embracing ourselves, loving ourselves, because I cannot be able to love somebody if I do not
Yeah,
love myself. I cannot be able to care for somebody if I do not care for myself. So I really
yeah.
think that it is not selfish, it is
Mhm.
necessary. Yes.
Wow, that's very important. Self-care is not selfish, but it is necessary. And I like what you're saying. You cannot serve from an empty vessel. So if you self you're empty, then there's no way you're gonna be able to fill in on someone else. So it's very important to take care of yourself so that you're able to also take care of the others. So thank you so much. That's very key. And so
Mhm.
would like to hear what is your personal mantra when it comes to self-care and mental wellness?
My personal mantra is I set the standards, the rest follow. You know, whatever I put
Mm-hmm.
out there
Interesting.
is what
Mm-hmm.
will come back to me. If I
Mm-hmm.
put a high standard out there, then the high standard will come back to me. If I put a low standard out there, then the low standard will come to me. I just feel like it's a ripple effect, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you put
Mm-hmm.
out there is exactly what will come back. So that's why for me is I set the standards and then the
Yeah.
rest follow because I will attract what I want
Mm-hmm.
to attract and what I think should be
Okay.
in my life. So
Mm-hmm.
if I'm putting if I set the standards that I come first, I have to take care
Yeah.
of myself, then I will be able to
Mm-hmm.
take care of others out there and they will be able to take care of me the same way. If I set standards to treat people well,
Mm-hmm.
then it will still come back to me. I just think it's actually a ripple effect. Whatever you put out there is exactly what is going
Yeah.
to come back to you. Yeah. So joy,
Mm-hmm.
my mantra, and it remains. It was still the same last year. I set the
Yeah.
standards, and the rest follow.
Wow, amazing. I totally love your mantra. I set the standards, others follow. And this is very true because if you set the wrong standard, then it means others are going to be following what you said. And especially, I like what you said because even for parents, when you go to some families where people are so loud, you find that children also are very loud, you know, because and you go to some
Definitely.
families where people are so orderly. It's because there's something that
Yeah.
has been set. There's an
Mm-hmm.
example that children are following after. So sometimes actually it's true that sometimes when you hear children using abusive and vulgar words, uh, just be as a parent, it's good to check, what words am I using, how am I speaking and behaving in the presence of my children, because children don't listen to what is said. They watch. They will not follow. Yes, they follow what you say, but mostly they learn by modeling. So they learn by what you're
Yes.
saying. So just seeing a few comments here from Duncan is saying, amazing, setting the standards, beautiful, thank you. Love and light from Mental Heaven, amazing work. Shiro and Maureen, thank you so much. And glad to be here and with you on self-care. Yeah, so thank you so much. And remember, if you have questions for Maureen Gekonyo, please feel free to ask. Feel free to just leave a question in the comment section. So moving on, Maureen, when it comes to self-care, there are things it's good for someone to really sit down and look at what are the things that I need to put off in my life. What are the things? And actually, I know we're at the beginning of the year. This is just February that has begun, and maybe at the beginning of the year you look at back at your life in 2020 and like, okay, wow, there are things that have to change. If I have to give myself the best care in terms of mental health, even in physical, spiritual health, there are things that I need to put off. So, would like to hear from you. What are some of the things that you want to put off for you? What are some of the things that you want to put off for you in this year or in this season? And yeah, also tell us a bit about what are the things that we should consider maybe cutting out when it comes to self-care and mental wellness.
Yeah. So such a great question, Joy. What are the things
Okay.
that I'm looking to, not even I'm looking, what have I done so far, the first month of 2021? I think for
Mm-hmm.
me is just cutting off toxicity. You know, whether it's
Yeah.
people, whether it's materials, whether it's whatever it is, I cannot
Mm-hmm.
handle that. I'm very sorry to say.
Yeah.
Because for me, I love people or things that just push me forward, you know, because I know for me, I am very intentional when it comes to the things that I do. So if anything
Definitely.
is dragging me behind, I
Mm-hmm.
cannot handle. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, what I would cut off is just toxicity.
Yeah.
I will
Mm-hmm.
cut it off, whether it's a person or a material or anything that it is, and I will make no apologies for it. Because that is
Mm-hmm.
just what will drag me behind in terms of mental, in terms of my physical health. And therefore, I don't think I can handle that. Therefore,
Mm-hmm.
anything toxic, any toxic relationship, any toxic person, any toxic
Mm.
material, any toxic environment, I cut it off
Yep.
immediately. Yeah. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, toxicity is just one major thing that I watch out for in my life.
Okay, wow, amazing. I totally love that, Maureen, because some of us, and especially when it comes to relationships, some of us know that we're in toxic relationships, but we hang in there hoping that things are going to change year in, year out, but it keeps destroying you, it keeps
Mm.
eating you up, and you still there. And also toxic people and toxic situations, toxic environments, maybe it's that job that you're in, and yes, you really need that job, but then it's a toxic job. Maybe you have a boss who talks down on you or just keeps putting you down. And yeah, so it's good to really look at, how, if it's an environment, if it's maybe things that I'm watching and they're just, you know uh, I'm taking in things that are actually not building me up or destroying me. So it's good to look at what are those things and just be able to say it is a no from now, and no, no, not anymore. So, and also toxic
Mm-hmm.
weight. Personally, this year I'm just dealing with toxic weight. I'm like, no, I do not want to be. I don't want to be struggling, walking, getting tired, breathing like breathing so hard like an elephant. No, I have decided I'm gonna, get rid of toxic food and also get
Yeah.
rid of toxic food. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. So someone is saying yes, hata watching news is ni toxic kwangu, and toxic social media pages. I love that. Wow, that's very true.
Yeah. I love
Um,
that.
yeah, so that's true. I can see. Have you ever felt like you're overgrowing your set standards? That's a question from Duncan. To you, Maureen, have you ever felt like you are overgrowing your set standards?
Well, definitely. I think standards change as you grow. I mean, as you find your purpose, as you find your voice, as you try to find yourself and who you are. So, yes, there are times I've felt like I'm overgrowing my set standards, and therefore I have to set new ones. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wow, wow. Yeah, I believe that, if yes, you have standards and you keep the thing with life, life comes in stages, we are growing. One time you're single, the other time you're married, the next time you're in this career, the next time you're in another career, you are a parent. So standards keep changing, keep improving, and we also have to keep, rechecking our standards and improving them. So yeah, thank you so much, Maureen, for that. And on to the next question. So, Um, what is the one advice you follow that you give to others? What is the one advice? And this is all about self-care. The one advice, especially as a mental health advocate, what is the one advice that you follow that you give to others? Yeah.
I think the one advice that I follow to the core, by the way. I follow it just like every time, and I think Joy, you know me very well.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm not okay, I speak up.
Yes.
And I really don't,
Hi, Maureen.
sorry, have I lost you or have you lost me?
Yes, you're back now. I think we got lost a bit, but we're back.
Okay, can you hear me? I think I'm still losing you a little
Yes.
bit.
Oh, yes, Maureen, I can hear you now. You're back.
Okay, so I was just saying that the one advice that I give people is when you're not okay, learn to acknowledge it, learn to accept,
Mm-hmm.
and learn to seek help. And it's okay to seek help. You know, it doesn't mean that when you seek help, you
Mm-hmm.
are weak. But
Mm-hmm.
it only means that you have gone through this and now you need help. You need somebody to help you through it. It doesn't at all mean that you're weak. And
Yeah.
also, I think as human beings, we are interdependent. We can't exist without one another. We depend on each other. And
Mm-hmm.
therefore, seeking help is just supposed to be part of life, you know? It's just supposed to be part of who we are. And it does
Yeah.
not show that you are weak at all. It actually shows your bravery to accept and to
Yeah.
acknowledge that you are not okay. And it means that you have been able to assess this particular situation and you've noticed it's taking a toll on you. And therefore, I need to take care of myself because seeking help is also a method of self care. So when
Yeah.
you notice this, you need to take
Mm.
care of yourself. Like I've said
Yeah.
when we were beginning, you are your first priority. Therefore, seeking
Yeah.
help does not make you weak at all. It actually proves
Mm.
just how strong you are. It actually shows your bravery.
Yeah.
It actually shows your
Mm.
level of self-love, you know. So for me, that one advice that I follow to the core, and it has
Mm.
not always been like that because I've had to learn it the hard way.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
Accept, acknowledge, and seek help. And it's okay
Mm.
not to be okay.
To be.
It's definitely okay not to be okay. It's okay to go through challenges. Nobody is perfect. We are all just trying to figure out this journey of life. And of course, we'll have
Yeah.
obstacles on the way because nobody has it all figured out. And just that's just
Yeah.
the truth. You know,
Absolutely.
whatever we
Yes.
see on social media or wherever, I mean, nobody has it all figured out. We are just
Yes.
moving and we don't know
Mm.
what obstacles are waiting for us on ahead. That's why I'm saying
Yeah.
that we are interdependent. We need to support each other. We need to collaborate.
Yeah.
We need to be
Mm-hmm.
there for one another rather than going, a diverge route because we
Yes.
really need one another. So for me, Joy, it's just learn to accept that you're not okay,
Yeah.
acknowledge that you're not okay, then seek help. And it's not weak,
Oh,
it is bravery. Yeah.
absolutely. I absolutely agree with you, Maureen. Acknowledge, accept, and seek help. And that is where it all begins. And I don't know why it's so difficult for us to seek help. I think seeking help from the right people, I think that's the thing. Because for sure, I remember one time when I was going through depression, I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know my friends, I knew they couldn't understand. And I was also the magnitude of what I was going through. I was like, wow, how are they going to take it? Are they going to run away from me or are they going to embrace
Yeah.
me? So I was also like, who do I talk to? And of course, at that time, I
Mm.
was not where I am today. I mean, today,
Yeah.
today I am not going to get depressed and keep quiet because I have learned through my journey. But at
Mm.
that point, actually, I thank God because I went to a therapist because I didn't know that any of my friends would understand. And for sure, the thing that happened is I decided to open up to one of my friends, and she went
Mm.
and kept quiet because she was like she didn't know how to help me. She didn't know how to ask me questions. So she went, and so later when I talked to her, I told her, I felt like my friends ran away and they neglected me. And she told me, I felt like maybe I needed to give you your personal space. And I was like,
Mm.
wow, that's you're giving me my personal space, and it's the time that I really need you. But I realized I won't blame them, but they really didn't know how to help. They didn't know. So I think it's also really important for us to be able to seek help from the right people. Seek help, actually, at some point, even seek professional help because sometimes you go to friends who don't know, have totally no idea and how to even help. So yeah, so I totally agree. It's good to really seek help and yeah, let it be from the right people. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
So
I think,
thank
Joy,
you so
before we move on, I
yeah.
think it's also very important that everybody is very intentional when it comes to mental health. Because just like you're
Mm-hmm.
saying, the problem sometimes is that I don't
Yeah.
know how to help my friend, I don't know how to help my family. But I
Yes.
feel like it's the obligation of everybody, because I'm always advocating for mental
Mhm.
health, that
Yeah.
it is not the work of the professionals alone. It is not the
Mm.
work of a specific person. When it
Yes.
comes to mental health, everybody has a role to play. Everybody.
Yes, that's true. That's
Therefore,
true.
at the individual level, I just feel like
Mm.
it's important that everybody
Yeah.
tries to educate themselves on what
Yes.
mental health really is and what is going on in the world, in terms of mental health.
Mhm.
Because, truth be told, this is a national disaster.
Yeah,
And
that's
not just
true.
in our country, but globally. So
Yes.
if
Yes.
we all join our hands together, I mean, collaborate with each other, form coalitions, then we are
Mm.
going to deal with very easily.
Yeah.
But I just
Mm.
feel that at the individual level, it's good to
Mhm.
educate yourself about
Yes.
what they're going through. There are very many articles out there, including
Mm.
the what we are just doing right now, Joy, on the Ministry
Yeah.
of Health psychological first aid. Just trying
Yeah.
to know, like, if I find somebody in a crisis, then how am I going to
Mm.
help them? You know,
Yeah.
how do they expect me to help them? What questions should I ask?
Mm.
What shouldn't I ask? So I just
Yeah.
feel like it's the obligation of every individual, and
Mm.
every advocate, I mean, every mental health advocate, to
Yeah.
empower the community on what really it is,
Mm.
how we can assist each other, how we can support
Mm.
each other.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. I believe that's very true. And like you're talking about psychological first aid. Psychological first aid is something we really need to understand because we need to understand how to help. And especially in cases when someone is depressed or someone is
Mm,
going through loss. So it's really important for us to know, to at least have some information about mental health. What are the signs? Because again, with what we are seeing today, as you've said, Maureen, we're seeing a lot of people suffering from depression, struggling with suicide. But when it happens, that's when we realize, oh my goodness, this person was doing this and this. This person had become quiet. This person stopped attending church, or they stopped attending our meetings. And at that point, when we saw that, it's not time to think that this person needs their personal space. Sometimes, yes, people do need some personal space, but then to an extent, when you notice that, okay, there's something wrong, it's not good to keep quiet. It's good to take a step and you could save a life. So that's really important. Yeah, it's important for us to be able to educate ourselves and get to know
mm,
about some of these things. Yeah, and if any one of our viewers would like to train with us when it comes to psychological first aid, you're welcome to reach out to Maureen or myself, because that's what you're currently doing right now, every Saturday for the next 6 weeks. The other thing is about failure. Maureen, have you ever failed? Failure,
uh,
because we when it comes to failure, we really some of us are too hard on ourselves, and we feel like it's the end of the road when we have failed. But tell us, have you ever failed personally, and how did you get up from that? And also tell us the greatest lessons that you learned from that.
well, I think sometimes back I was the queen of failure.
What? Queen of failure, that is quite
so,
something.
so definitely I have hit rock bottom, not once, not twice, not thrice, so many times. And I don't
Mm,
think failure is inevitable. It's part of our life. It's inherent in every human being. We have
mm,
to go. But failure is not normally the problem, but how
yeah.
we get up from is the
Mm,
problem.
mm,
Yes, I've hit rock
mm,
bottom so many
yeah.
times. There are times I used to try every day, every time, not seeing the need to be in this world. I was just
Mm-hmm.
down, and I was thinking, like, I didn't even care about the future, what the future holds for me.
Mm,
And at that, most of the time we don't and we shouldn't blame ourselves for this, but at that
yeah.
moment you cannot be, I mean, most of the time you can't be able to actually view the bigger picture in life. it actually becomes
Mm-hmm.
so difficult. So most of the
Yeah.
time we find that we are dwelling on that small, that thing that is
Yeah.
causing, how
Mm-hmm.
we are failures, and whatever we are going through. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, I think the thing that has helped me bounce back, because bouncing back is the most
Mm-hmm.
important part. Failure
Wow.
is perfectly fine. It's perfectly
Mm-hmm.
fine, and you should not blame yourself when you fail, because it is inherent in every human being. We can't avoid it.
Yeah.
And even the
Mm.
biggest people, I think I was just reading about the now president of the United States, Joe Biden. And Joe Biden had started the presidential campaigns, or the presidential aspiration, when he
Mm-hmm.
was just 45 years. I think he's 78 years right now. I'm not so sure. But you can
Mm-hmm.
imagine that gap of around 30 years, just feeling like, how can I
Mm-hmm.
not make it through this? And of course, between those days, he was still going through something, but he never gave up. So
Mm.
failure is normally the problem. Giving up is, you know.
Wow.
So for
Wow.
me, what I did at this period, and there will be those times when, Joy, you are the only person who believes in yourself. Even when you have failed, you still believe
Mm-hmm.
in this and this and this and this. But nobody else, everybody else around you is just saying the way you have failed, the way you are this, or the way you are that.
Yeah.
And at that
Mm.
time, you are the only one who believes in yourself. And I believe
Mm-hmm.
at this, it's not time to blame people for not believing in you, or not, trying to see where you're coming from. But this is the time that you need to smear yourself with some self-love and
Mm-hmm.
self-determination. And this is just the way you are going to bounce back, because for me, the most important part is not hitting rock bottom, but how I bounce
Yeah.
back to reality and going back.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting back to the track, to the track that I have set for myself, or the standards that I have
Yeah.
set for myself. So yes, I have failed, just like I've told you, there was a time I was queen of failure, but yeah, here we are today.
Oh, goodness. Okay. And
Yeah.
now you're the queen of mental health. All right. I think that's absolutely amazing, Maureen. What you're saying, that failure is not a problem. Failure is not a problem, but the problem is when you stay down there after you fail. You know, after you fail, you stay down there. That's a problem. And I think we've seen in the world, people have tried things so many times, and they did not succeed in the first trial. But if they gave up, we will not have electricity, we will not have planes, we will not have the trains and everything that we have today. So everything uh, that there is today, the successful people that we have today, they failed at some point. So yeah, we
Mhm.
will fail, yes, but don't be so hard on yourself. Don't think that it's the end of the world. It's good to, when you fail, even if you fail 1,000 times, still stand up again and try again. As long as you're alive, I say it's an opportunity to try again. So yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
that, Maureen. I think that was a very good a very good answer to that. And moving on, so I'd like also to hear, because again, when it comes to self-care, it's good
Mhm.
to embrace some new things. It's good to look at how did I, how have I been taking care of myself, my mental health, physical health, spiritual health. It's also good to look at new things that you can embrace to enhance your self-care and your mental health. So tell us about personally the things that you're embracing and things that you'd advise us to also embrace when it comes to self-care.
So what I'm embracing, especially this year, I'm just going to show you something
Okay.
that I have here. I had just placed it. I'm really glad I got this planner this year. And
Wow.
this was gifted to me by my cousin who is in Australia.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
for me, just trying to like know what goals I have for each day right
mhm.
now is really something that is very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Getting to keep track of where I am is also my
Yeah.
method of self-care. And I think
Mm-hmm.
also, like, I need to, for me, it's really been so difficult for me to even say no to anything. But
Mm-hmm.
this year, I am very intentional with what I want and with what I don't want, what I can do
Yeah.
and what I cannot do, what affects me and what does not affect me. So
Yeah.
for me, just learning to say no is one
Mm-hmm.
method of self, because sometimes I do not even have to explain why I said no. It's for my own
Mm-hmm.
mental health, it's for my own physical health, it's for my own spiritual health.
Yes.
And I do not feel guilty about it, because most of the times I found myself feeling guilty when I said, no, my God, like, how will this friend or how will this, person carry me when I say no, or how will this colleague take me? But I think right now it's more about what I can do, because I know we can just do so much, and there's
Mm-hmm.
limits to everything, and it's okay to say no. It's okay to and even when I go through my planner, I know there are some things in here that I've written maybe today or yesterday that I've not achieved, and that's perfectly
Yeah.
okay. That's perfectly
Mm-hmm.
okay to not achieve that specific thing at that
Yeah.
time. At least I tried my best.
Oh,
So
okay.
another method of self-care that I'm doing, oh my
Yeah.
God, Joy, I know I've been talking to you about this a lot. This book is really, really,
Secret.
really, really,
Mhm.
yes, it's really
Yes.
lifting up my spirits, and I really have a
Mm-hmm.
different mindset right now. And just
Yeah.
knowing that everything, just like you've said before, that
Mm-hmm.
everything was a thought. If somebody did not think about us having cars, we wouldn't have
Yes.
cars. If that person gave up, then we wouldn't be having cars. If somebody did not think about an aeroplane, then we wouldn't be flying outside the country or going to
Mm-hmm.
explore other places or just interact. If somebody did not think about the internet, then we wouldn't be here right now, you know? So
Okay.
for me, it's just being very intentional about my self
Mm-hmm.
care routine. I read a lot. Nowadays, I love to read motivational books. I love to plan myself. I love to spend time with my family. And I say no without feeling
Mm-hmm.
guilty and without making any apologies for that, because it's for my own good. Yeah, so I think
Oh,
those are just some few things that I'm doing right now. Also trying to
okay.
observe my sleep hygiene. I know you know this very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, just try to be very intentional about everything that I do.
Okay, amazing. Maureen, you're telling us about learning to say no. So I'm going to ask you this one. Valentine is around the corner. So are you going to say no if someone asks you out for Valentine's?
So I don't know, I don't know. Now I'm still in the market. So if
Maureen. Eh,
no, now that will highly depend on who it is, or if I like the person or if I don't like the person. I mean, it's okay to like the person or not like the person. It's life.
okay.
But I will say yes to my friends. I will say yes to my family. But when
Uh-huh.
it comes to romantic relationships, I don't really know how that would go. But I'm just saying that, just to make people aware that, yeah, Gikonyo is my dad.
Oh my gosh, please don't think that Gekonyo is the husband. She's very single and ready to mingle. So, there you go. Thank you for making that clear. Okay. So, do you have a self-care routine, Maureen? I would like to know about that because it's important for us to have a self-care routine, and maybe you can also tell us how that looks like.
Well, if you asked me this question like an year ago, that's before the pandemic, I'd
Mm.
be wondering, okay, why are you asking me this question? Of course, everybody has a self-care routine. Until you
Mm-hmm.
ask me, how do you take care of yourself? Then I'd be like, oh my
Yeah.
God, how do I really take care of myself?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jolie, no, I'm
Jolly.
not.
She's not Mrs. Gikonyo, she's
Not,
Miss
I
Gikonyo.
am,
She's in the market, and this is Valentine's, so we don't want we don't want her to spend another lonely Valentine's. So
yeah, I know, right? I'm making manifestations this year. And just being really positive when it comes to this sector. But
yes.
just like I was telling you, Joy, that
Mhm.
if you ask me these questions an year ago, I'd be like, okay. Until you ask me how I take care of myself, then I'd be like, oh my God, how do I do that?
Mhm.
I can't think clearly. But I think for me, every single day I wake up with a very
Yeah.
positive mind.
Mhm.
And just I have I every night I put my plans in my planner, you know, how I'm going to spend the day. That is because I really do not want to get confused, and also trying to set my priorities right and to
Yeah.
know what is most important for me the next day. What goal do I want to achieve the next day?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
for me, it's waking up, brushing the small things that we take for granted, brushing my teeth,
Mhm. Making
showering, um, getting to start working on whatever projects I have for that day, or whatever documents I have um, to deliver that day, or whatever talks I
Mhm.
have that day. I have them well planned the previous night. And I also like to
Yeah.
dress up, though not for every day, most of the days. There are those days
Yeah.
you just wake up and you're like, oh my God, yeah, this is just that day. I just want to be in bed. But
Mhm.
just setting that, just dressing up and coming to my working area, even though I'm
Mhm.
working from home.
Oh,
And
that's
also cooking at the time that I'm supposed to cook. So joy for me,
mm.
it's just about having my priorities right. And for me,
Yes.
how I have my priorities right is just by writing it on my journal and just trying
Yeah.
to plan the day. Because I believe most of the time, when we are disorganized, then we are exposing
Yeah.
ourselves to mental
Mhm.
challenges, that we're exposing
Yes.
ourselves to stress. So
Yes.
to avoid all this, then I
Mhm.
journal it down. So yes, my self-care
Ah.
routine is well intact, and I'm very
Mhm.
happy that this book just came to me at the right time. Yeah.
Wow. Wow,
And
that's
thank you so
amazing.
much.
It's actually
Please tell the men in the men conference I'm very ready to be the speaker. Yeah.
oh my goodness, yes, he's inviting you to be the speaker in the men's conference. My goodness. No, Maureen does not want to go to the men's conference. She wants to be taken out for Valentine's by Mr. Right. So Duncan,
Yeah. By Mr.
no.
Maureen.
Yeah. And also Jolly says MBC is to building healthy relationships in 2021. Yes. And actually,
Definitely.
healthy relationships is part of self-care. So Maureen, I see our time is far much gone and we have just a few minutes to go. So I would like you to kindly tell us, as a mental health advocate, what are the five, you can tell us three or at least four or five things that you recommend for people to adopt and ensure they're taking care of their mental health and especially during this new year.
Mm. Okay, so I highly believe that what works for me will not always work for another person, Joy.
Yes.
But what I'll just like to do, I mean, when it comes to this journey of mental health,
Mm-hmm.
what works for one person will not always work for another. But I have a list of things that you can do to take care of your mental health, hold dearly to my
Yeah.
heart is just what I had talked about prior. Just, learn to accept, learn to acknowledge, and learn to seek help when you're not okay. And sometimes, sometimes when you get yourself just out of the blues, I'm not okay, when it's too late.
Yeah.
So for me, it's very important that we spare, even though it's 10 minutes a day, to really connect with yourself. Because I will really insist today and still every day that you are your first priority. You cannot serve from an empty vessel. So if you're
Yes.
spending days with people and with, doing things, going to work, then why can't you spare 10 minutes a day to just connect with, how was my day? How have you been? What are the emotions that I had today? What have I been doing? Did it make me happy? Did it make me sad? What should I do differently tomorrow? So for me, it's very important that every day we sit by ourselves and just connect with ourselves. The other thing that also I love to do is mindful breathing exercises, and this is just to reduce anxiety. Sometimes, and especially during this COVID, I'm seeing it so much in schools. Now that people have gone back to their workplaces, there's so much anxiety that is going on. It's actually this big. And anxiety sometimes will also cause aggressive behavior, just like what we are seeing in schools. But what are some of the measures we can adopt to ensure that this does not go on? And one of the things that is very simple but very powerful is just mindful breathing exercise. Just sitting by yourself, per day, and just trying to breathe in and be very intentional about your breathing. The other thing, I know, Joy, you do this a lot, ilinishinda kabisa, physical exercises, and I applaud you for that. Just being very intentional about your physical health, about what you what is going through. So just trying to have those and exercises does not mean that going to the gym by yourself. Even just stepping outside and taking a walk or doing some exercises indoors. Just also trying to connect as part of connecting yourself. What are your hobbies? What do I love to do? Music, if it's taking a walk, if it's drama, if it's watching a movie, whatever you love to do, please do it. And the most important, Joy, because of time, I beg to end there when it comes to this question, is take a rest. Take a rest. And do not feel guilty about taking a rest, because I believe that our bodies, can only take so much.
Yeah, that's true.
Recharging yourself, and it is not selfish to take a rest. Take a rest. Take that off from work, from school, from wherever, and just try and rest and recharge back. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Maureen. I think what you've shared are really good and practical, applicable things that we can pick up and, apply in our lives. And I like what you say about acknowledge, accept, and seek help. By the way, if things are not working or maybe you're struggling with something, be it's a relationship and you're feeling you're at a corner, or maybe it's work and, things are really not going the way, or you're feeling stuck because maybe you are, you're turning a year older this year and you feel like I'm not where I wanted to be when it comes to being at this age, or being in 2021. I'm not where I really wanted to be. And you actually looking at the year ahead where you are right now and you're like, wow, what is happening with my life? So it's good to acknowledge that, this is how I'm feeling. I'm feeling a bit stuck. Accept, seek help, and, take time to connect. That's true. Mindful breathing. I totally love mindful breathing. Physical exercise. Yeah, that's true. And yes, rest. If you can, please rest. Maureen, this has been amazing. And I see we have just about 3 minutes to go, but this has been amazing. And yes, there's so much to learn. And as we finish, I'd like to read for us something. um, so I also have an amazing book, and this is called Nuggets of Destiny. So Nuggets of Destiny is basically a Bible plan that gives me a scripture for every day. And yeah, I'm going to be reading us a scripture for every day for the next 14 days, and hope will be encouraged. And today I'm going to read Romans 10:17, which says, consequently, faith comes from hearing the message, and the message is heard through the word of Christ. So, and this, when I was reading this, I was like, okay, what am I hearing? Because faith comes by hearing.
Mm.
So, depositing
Yeah.
faith, and for me as a Christian, when I read the Word of God, that's a deposit of faith, and it helps me, it lifts me. And this is part of my self-care, actually. So it's very good to be careful. What are you hearing? Are you just accepting, are you feeding yourself negative things? Are you taking in negative things? Are you, allowing and comfortable with the negative things that are coming into your mind? So let's also just food for thought as we go. Watch out what you're listening. Watch out what is being said to you. And Maureen, you told us, there are things that we need to put off. So if you're if you're around an environment where people are speaking negative things about us, or it's very
Mm.
good to know that what do I need to cut out, what do I need to stop hearing, and what do I need to start hearing for the sake of building my mental wellness. Thank you so much, good people. This has been amazing. We've really had a wonderful time. And Maureen, I really appreciate you for joining us today. Yes, day one has been amazing. You've really given us a beautiful start. And yes, I can't wait for day two. So thank you so much, and good night, everybody. Love you
Bye.
all.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Jolly. Thank you as well.